Okay, so welcome back to As Told by You. Today we have got Becky and Andrew from Senior Resources on, so thank you guys for coming on. I have known both of y'all for a little while in different ways. It's kind of interesting how small Columbia is sometimes. We had a question about Meals on Wheels. So Senior Resources does Meals on Wheels, right? How do we do dietary things with Meals on Wheels? So like if you showed up at my house with fried chicken, my wife wouldn't be able to eat it because there's too much cholesterol in it. How do y'all decide how that works? Yeah. Or do you decide? Does somebody else decide?
Yeah. So that is one of the life's mysteries, right? Like the things we really want to eat are usually not good for us, and so the challenge is how do we do that? And so we've got a dietitian that really helps us make sure that the meals we're delivering to seniors are appropriate for seniors' health. So low sodium, whole wheat, but we like to mix it up and make sure it's also something good to eat. So we're really careful on what we're providing, make sure it's a good balanced meals, that we're watching out for sodium and fat and all the things that make things good but not necessarily healthy, and then balance it out. So like our favorite meal for most of our clients is the Italian meatballs, and so those are great and those are awesome, but we don't serve those every day, and so we balance that out with some chicken, and all things in balance usually seems to work. So moderation is the key. And we're real careful to make sure that what we're doing is a healthy meal, in addition to having that human interaction, which is also oftentimes just as important for the folks who are homebound that are on Meals on Wheels.
Gotcha. So how do the seniors get signed up for it? And then when they sign up, do they submit dietary restrictions to the form, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we there's a lot of different ways somebody can get referred to Meals on Wheels. It could come from their doctor's office, upon discharge from a hospital. They may be food insecure and reach out to us directly, or a loved one reaches out to us directly on our website or Facebook or one of those ways. The Department on Aging is part of the government structure here in South Carolina that can also send referrals over for seniors that are insecure. So there's a lot of different ways that they come to us. And we have a standard meal for the day, and then we also honor some dietary restrictions. So pork is usually the biggest one. If somebody doesn't eat pork, we make sure we make a note on that. And so when we have pork chops one day, then we make sure they're getting chicken or some alternative on that and making sure. So it's also an opportunity for us to introduce foods that maybe aren't normally in the diet of the seniors, and having that variety and introduce them to new opportunities, something that maybe they didn't consider eating before, but it is something on the menu. So there's a lot of different ways that we can get that in there and make sure they've got something healthy to eat that day.
Where does the food come from?
So what's really cool
Andrew's in the kitchen cooking every day.
Yeah, definitely not Andrew's cooking skills. There'd be a lot of macaroni and cheese and pizza coming in the door.
Toast.
Yeah. So what's really cool about Senior Resources, everything we're doing is staying right here local in the community. So we use donations from the community to be able to serve the seniors that we work with every day. But we partner with a local family-owned caterer that gets to work nice, bright, and early while we're still in bed, and starts cooking the meals for us around 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And then they deliver it to us ready to go in the morning. We start packing with volunteers, get it ready to go out, and then volunteers deliver the meals to the door. So it's a really cool opportunity for us to support a local small business that relies on us as one of their biggest customers. And so they can do other things in the community, but also support the good work that the Meals on Wheels program does at Senior Resources.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very cool. I have a core memory of Meals on Wheels. My grandmother did Meals on Wheels when I was a little kid, and we would go pick it up, and we would drive around with these packages of it. And this was the 80s, so it was all fried chicken and mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese, and we didn't think about dietary things at that point. But her
meat and three.
Yeah, meat and three. It was like green beans cooked with pork fat and all that. But her car smelled so good, and that core memory is like anytime I smell fried chicken, I remember going around with my grandmother delivering Meals on Wheels, and I don't even know that I knew what she was doing. She just, I just was staying with her and had to go with her to do Meals on Wheels. But
I love that. I
love that it's been this sort of core service for as long as it has, because because that would have been the early 80s. I mean, it would have been 82,
So Meals on Wheels programs, and here in Columbia, it was, in the early 70s is when that came along.
Yeah.
And we've been serving meals really every day since then. And it was really cool to hear that story. I've got a similar story. I remember my grandmother delivering Meals on Wheels in a small rural town in South Carolina. And even when she got to the point where she probably needed to be on the services, she was still volunteering because that was her outlet in retirement. And she had built relationships with those people knocking on the door. And so even when she wasn't able to drive, she recruited her baby sister to come deliver her meals because those were her people and she wanted to take care of them. And so it's so cool to see that. And every day we have volunteers coming up, and they're living in that same moment that I remember my grandmother living in all those years ago. And that continuation of the community giving back is a really cool thing.
That was like the real fried chicken. That was like with Crisco and like melted Crisco in a pot.
You can't do that these days.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I don't even know how Crisco's in business anymore because I can't imagine anybody's frying chicken in Crisco nowadays. So, Becky, tell me how you got to this. What brought you to Senior Resources, and what's your origin?
Gosh, okay, so I'm a Columbia native, born and bred basically here, and decided to make Columbia my home, and haven't really moved too far away, and I've been in the nonprofit circuit for my whole career and have loved it. And that's how I met Andrew along the way. It was our little development nonprofit circle is really tight. And I was looking for a new opportunity to grow, and have loved the work that Senior Resources has done for years and years. At my previous organization, I referred a lot of volunteers and worked closely with Senior Resources. So when I heard there was an opening, I was really excited to narrow in my work and support our older adults. So it was just a great fit.
That's awesome. So Senior Resources is I guess a partner agency with United Way?
It is,
yes.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, so I love that network too. That's very cool how, when we work with United Way, we get to work with Transitions, and we get to work with Senior Resources and all kinds of different organizations based on that. So you've been there a couple of years now, right?
Just celebrated year two.
It
just feels like forever, doesn't it, Andrew?
It's been lovely.
My goodness.
Clenched teeth. It's great.
I feel like
great.
that is a funny little thing. So Andrew, I knew your sister from United Cerebral Palsy for many years ago, which is kind of cool that's how this whole thing works. I guess there's probably not too many boozers around.
Yeah, so you can always tell the native South Carolinians from people who have moved here when I introduce myself as Boozer, and somebody who's from the Columbia area doesn't even blink an eye because that's normal. And somebody who's moved in from another part of the country looks at me funny and says, "What was that last? Can you spell that?"
Are you a boozer?
Yeah.
My family's got
Here's
long roots.
another joke that you've never heard before.
Literally, as you were saying it, I was like, booze. In my mind, I was going, booze.
Yeah, he's not from here, folks.
So is the Boozer family the Boozer Shopping Center family?
Distant relatives.
What?
So, and it used to be Boozer Lumber in town.
Yeah,
was
Boozer
another
Lumber.
big
Yeah, that's
business before I-77 came through and dislocated that situation. But yeah, all distant relatives. We all are way back in colonial era South Carolina. So
how about that?
We're
one of those.
Well,
some deep roots.
So I know your sister is at Newberry College?
Newberry College, yeah.
So what do you think brought y'all both to sort of service like this, helping people? And
I think it's helping people's always been strong in my family and lots of families in this community, and I think we both. I'm speaking for her at this point, but we feel really strongly about doing what we can to help those get to places that we've been fortunate enough in our life to do, and recognize that we've been given opportunities that we need to give back to those that have not had those same opportunities. And she's worked in the nonprofit field and now in higher education. I've worked in higher education, now the nonprofit field. But it's the same thing. It's like bringing those opportunities to folks that aren't there. And the awesome thing about being in the Midlands is we're such a close-knit community, even with the growth that we're experiencing right now, that maybe aren't those generations old connections. it's still a close-knit community. You're still going to run into people on Soda City on Saturday morning that you haven't seen in a few years and reconnect. And it's like having an old friend right away. And so that's the beauty about living in the Columbia area, in the Midlands, whether you're in one of the small towns in the suburbs now of the big city of Columbia, or you're right here in Columbia. You're just one or two degrees removed from pretty much anybody else you meet. And that's a really cool feeling. And it's the same thing with the people we serve at Senior Resources. Like there's almost always a close connection to figure out, this person goes to church with my neighbor, this person, we're not serving a faceless, nameless person. It's a real individual that we're able to help every day. And this was really cool.
Well, and along those lines, Becky, what do you like about what Senior Resources does? What do you feel like you accomplish in the community?
I mean, sometimes when we have a tough day, I get home and I'm, talking to my husband about it, or my mom, who delivers Meals on Wheels every Thursday and Friday to her people. And it's like, it was a tough day, but at the end of the day, everybody got fed. We can have some snafus, or we might have like a volunteer call out, a staff member call out, and it just it puts us on edge. We're like, how are we going to feed these clients? How are we going to get these seniors these meals? Or, just something internal that we're just not sure what to do about. But at the end of the day, you've done good work because somebody got a warm meal that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So at the core of it, I love that. I love how simple our work is, that we're just out here feeding seniors. But then, why I love this job is there's just so much to it. It's more than just the Meals on Wheels piece. It's that relationship with our volunteers where they're not only helping us feed these seniors, but we're giving them an activity to keeping them moving and going as they're in retirement. Like a solid chunk of our volunteers are retirees, or it's that college student that we had in the kitchen this morning packing that we made an impression on, and they're asking, can they come back tomorrow and pack and start their morning that way. So we're leaving that impressionable moment on them that they'll carry with them. And maybe they leave the Midlands and they go someplace else and they find another Meals on Wheels organization to volunteer with.
Kind of carry it with them.
Yeah. But it's just like how meaty the job is, and like all of the things that we do. We have the Lori Center. So yesterday they went to Beer Keller and had a great time at their beer tasting. And that was just like, it was so great to see. They were so excited to get out of the Lori Center, out of their Tai Chi and aerobics class, doing that. So it's just, there's so many different pieces to the work that we do outside of the Meals on Wheels piece that just makes me so excited to get to the office every day and do something different.
So what other resources does Senior Resources provide? You mentioned the Lori Center.
Yeah.
I envisioned a group of seniors getting onto a boozing bus and going
The boozer bus, yeah.
going to the
See a
brewery.
branding opportunity.
There's a common thread here.
Yeah, maybe we should provide transportation to that yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll be providing transportation for their State House store coming up in a week or so. But so we have I always kind of think of our work as like a linear way that we do things. So we've got at the top end the Lori Center, and that's the only fee-for-service program that we have. Everything else, it is for the senior. And the Lori Center is a membership-based facility geared for adults 50 and up. It's in the heart of downtown by Maxie Gregg Park. And it used to be the Capitol Senior Center, established by Senator Lori years ago. And now it's folded under our umbrella 3 years ago this August. And so they are active adults. There's 600 plus members that come in every day. The bulk are retirees, and this is like how they keep their schedule going. So they take their 9 a.m. Pilates class, they go to their 10 a.m. Tai Chi, they break for lunch and then come back for something else in the afternoon. But they are an active bunch, and our goal is, keeping adults active, community, moving and grooving. And then our other programming that's more for need-based adults, we have our Congregate program where we have 4 neighborhood wellness centers throughout Richland County where we provide the transportation for these adults that are able to get out and about of the house, but they have that barrier around transportation. They are at risk of malnutrition, and they also are lacking that community that we all need to have in our lives. So we bring them to one of these centers. We have activities for them. We have special guests come in. So if y'all want to come in and talk about, technology, they'd love that. What a podcast is, they'd love that. And then they get that Meals on Wheels meal together. A step down from that is we have a lunch bunch that gets together at Lizard's Thicket. They meet in cohorts once a week. They get a dietitianary approved meal, so they do get the fried chicken.
You can eat healthy at Lizard's Thicket.
Yes,
so the Williams family is great on that. Another opportunity where we're working with local family-owned business and working together on that.
That's breaking news.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we have. I think we have broken a story here.
Yes.
I did say meat and
The
three.
thicket. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but
It's
like,
so good.
can you get a salad? Is that what you?
Yeah.
Grilled salad?
I don't know if that's chosen.
There's chicken and fish as a protein option, so you get to choose there. And then there's like 6 of the sides that are chosen on it, including the fried okra passed inspection. I don't really know how.
We don't
I don't
ask a lot of
question.
questions.
Dietitian said, yeah, that's approved, and I said, but who am I to argue
And we
with the
fill
dietitian?
that room. They meet off Gardener's Ferry and in Blythewood, and I mean it is packed. People
I guess
love
you're gonna
that.
fry something. Might as well be okra.
That's
you
it.
know?
It's
So,
so good.
if you're gonna have fried something,
That's
you know,
it.
have
Delicious.
fried okra.
It's delicious.
Well, that's
So we have all these programs that lead up,
Yeah.
and then at the end of it, the culmination is the Meals on Wheels, and
Yeah.
that is for those homebound older adults, primarily living alone, who they need that meal, they need that warm smile that our volunteer staff member brings them.
Well, and I know the times that I have been, because we've done video around Meals on Wheels several times for different projects, and there's always a group. It's always either a church group or it's some type of social group or a company or sorority, fraternity. Is that you find that that's who volunteers is like groups like that, or is there a lot of individuals?
It's a total mix.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag. So this morning we had, I think it was a group of university students today, in the kitchen packing up the meals. And now we have just a whole bunch of individuals. We rely on 50 volunteers Monday through Friday each day to come into one of our 3 pickup locations to pick up the meals and deliver them out to the clients. And so some days we'll have a takeover by a company and they take over half the routes, and we love those days. But most of the time it's just individuals. We have some sororities who adopt routes. We have some companies that adopt routes, some Rotary groups, things like that, churches. But it is individuals who have, an hour of their day and they want to give back to seniors in their area.
It's our volunteers really are the magic that make it happen, and there's no typical Meals on Wheels volunteer.
Yeah.
Like we've got a C-suite executive from one of the large companies here in Columbia.
Yeah.
He's there almost every Friday.
Yeah.
That is his end of the week routine, is he's going to deliver meals every Friday. And it's exciting to see him come through. We'll have college students that are putting in service hours, whether it's for their sorority or fraternity, or whether they had too much fun at 5 Points at St. Patty's Day, and they got some court ordered hours. But and it's everything in between. We've got 2 guys that are volunteers, and they're retired, and they deliver together, and like that's their man hour of the day. They don't go out to get coffee. They don't go out to get beers. They don't grab lunch.
They do
do
2
Meals
routes.
on Wheels. Yeah.
2 routes
and so
every
they hop in the
Tuesday,
truck and they get together, and they don't play golf. They don't do these things. They volunteer, and that's
They do
when
play
they
golf,
all
just
right,
not on their
well,
Meals on Wheels days.
in the afternoons.
One of the people I remember working with Meals on Wheels was Paul Fant. The year he won Humanitarian of the Year, he was head of gas operations for Scana and then Dominion. Like he was a big deal.
Absolutely.
And he did Meals on Wheels. And Paul was just like that, but like a lot of those guys are, a lot of those big CEOs and vice presidents and executives are like that.
And we work really hard for our Meals on Wheels drivers. It's an hour of your time.
Yeah.
And so you can squeeze that in on a lunch break. Maybe the kids are at school. You can get it done while the kids are at school.
Yeah.
You can get it done right before you meet up friends for lunch. Like there's all kinds of different ways and opportunities to get engaged. And so we honor our volunteers' time, because they're giving of the most precious resource we all have, which is time. And we work really hard to make that time efficient and get the job done and go on about your day. And that's what we see volunteers come back over and over and say, oh, well, I'm only going to do this, once or twice, but I'm happy to help. And then they do it and they love it.
Yeah.
You get to the end of the route, you never feel bad at the end of delivering Meals on Wheels. It will always brighten your day.
And I was thinking, as Becky was talking about this, nobody's going to be against this. Like, nobody's going to say, no, you shouldn't be feeding these people.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
It's
not when
it's
you
such
see
a cool.
how relieved some of these folks are, too, to get their meal.
Yeah.
just knowing that it's lunchtime, somebody's out there looking out for them.
Yeah.
It's just so great. We did a route yesterday because sometimes, we like to audit and kind of make sure that they are under an hour.
Secret
or it's
shop.
just like if you're having a bad day, the best thing to do is to go run a route. And so we took our intern. This was her first route, so she could like really see it, so she can help tell our story about what we do. And it was great. It took us 40 minutes. Everyone was so delightful. They're so happy. And the smiles that she got, like she just kept walking back to the car, like thumbsing up at us and just a big smile. It made her whole day.
Well, I would say that Brian and I have talked about this, and we both would love to be able to do
Yeah,
it.
I've
When are
already
y'all
filled out
running
the
around?
volunteer application.
We've got
Fantastic.
openings tomorrow if you want to come by.
Yeah.
We do, yeah.
We know people, so we
we
can
can get you in.
We can
We get you-
skirt.
Thanksgiving is
around the line.
kind of like packing us full for Thanksgiving. And I think there are a few routes because we do serve on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And when the kids are home from school and you need something for them to do, like we take kids, they can come pack in the kitchen with you. They can run routes with you. It's a great way to get that exposure. My 3-year-old, like when Andrew was talking about his grandmother, my 3-year-old hops in the car a lot with my mom when she does her routes, when she's babysitting for us. So Emily has seen the Meals on Wheels.
Getting that core memory.
life. Yeah.
You want to see a senior's eyes light up. Let
Yeah.
a kid
they
deliver the meal.
love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
On a day off from school or summer or preschool or whatever, let that kid deliver the meal. And not only is the kid getting this core memory, but you're also really making a senior's day because the people we serve are isolated. They often don't leave home. They're not seeing another adult
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
most days. The only person they see is the person who's delivering the meal. So it's super important. As important as the nutrition is that we were talking about earlier, it's really that wellness check too, to make sure that they were able to get
How you
up
doing?
and to the door
Yeah.
for the day, and that they have everything they need. And if something's off, referring back to our social worker so we can do some follow up on that and make sure that they're getting the help they need to be healthy. Live in their own home is super important.
So what is the process if you're delivering a meal and you walk up there and you knock on the door and no one answers?
Yeah. So the best way is using our app that we've got that gives you turn-by-turn direction on your Apple CarPlay on your phone, and make a note to us. It comes back to the office, and we know in real time
check on
that
them,
they
yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
there. And so we'll have notes. We know the next of kin. We can send an alert, say, hey, just let you know, your mom didn't come to the door today. Is everything okay? And sometimes somebody will go check on them. If it's been a day or two, we'll call Richland County Sheriff's Office and say, hey, can you go do a wellness check on this individual? And so we make sure we do a follow-up, make sure they're okay. And, lots of times it's because they had a relative come visit unexpectedly and they went out to lunch.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome. Occasionally it's something like, they fell or they weren't feeling well or, they're feeling sleepy and maybe their medication was off or something like that. But it enables us, especially as families now are more spread, don't necessarily live next door to each other or even in the same town or the same states. We're that check-in, and we can send the next of kin in California a note, say, hey, your mom didn't come to the door today. Is everything okay? And it becomes that point to roll to make sure everything's good and taking care of them.
And we've had volunteers like be in the middle of a medical situation that a client's had. So we had, luckily it was a staff member, and she still was like, I can't believe this happened. But she, the door opened, she was giving the gentleman his meal, and he just like fell down.
Oh no.
And so, and he brushed it off. I think he was a little embarrassed. He was just like, I'm cool. And she's like, no, we are calling 911. So this happens from time to time. I don't want to scare anybody away, but like we've had other volunteers where they've noticed like breathing was a little erratic. So they'll call 911. They'll call us and let us know what's going on. And then we take care of our clients that way. And so the client that fell down, she was able to talk him into going to the ambulance, going to the emergency room, getting checked out. And he's now back at home. He's doing just fine. He just had a little scare. Just need to take care of himself a little bit
But that's
better.
so important. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Like.
You're literally saving a life.
Yeah.
Delivering more than a meal.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, Becky, I can see y'all talking about this. You're excited about it. Andrew, how long have you been doing it? You've been doing it a while.
6 years, yeah.
6 years. So, I'm fascinated with what draws you to the nonprofit space. Like, what is it about this that keeps you connected to it?
Gosh, I love that every day is just different. And then from the fundraising side, like I just love connecting people to help meet their philanthropic goals. So like yesterday we had a gentleman come in off the street, and I think he kind of knew about us, but he he wanted to talk to somebody in the development office, and he was just asking a few questions and wanted to learn more about our mission. I made a donation. And so I just love, like, that rarely happens, and I love that. So anybody watching, please come visit me in the office and, like, ask some questions. Like, I will answer riddles. Like, I will answer jokes. I'll tell jokes. But I just love that connection piece. I love the human interaction of getting a volunteer connected with us. Maybe they're not comfortable with the idea of doing Meals on Wheels. That can be overwhelming to some folks, of like, I'm taking my car and I'm driving, I'm going to a house I've never been to before. Well, then why don't you come pack in the kitchen? Or why don't you come to the wellness centers and sit and talk to our clients for a while? Why don't you lead bingo? Who doesn't love bingo? We play bingo all the time. We love bingo. So it's just, I love how I can work with individuals and help them meet their goals. And it's just like, no day is ever different. Like, you know, we're here today on a Tuesday. I'm not going to be doing this tomorrow.
Yeah.
What would you guys say your biggest need is? Like, we talked about volunteers, we talked about fundraising. What's the biggest need for you guys?
The biggest challenge for us is the need for our services so outweighs our ability to afford to be able to serve everybody who calls us. So we're serving right now about twice the number of people we were serving pre-pandemic. So when you look at the last 5 years, we're serving over 700 people lunch a day right now, and so nearly double what we were doing back in 2018, 2019. And we still have a waiting list of over 200 people that want meals today. And that's the thing that drives me, is how what are we going to do to meet that need? Because the answer is not let's let this list get bigger, because our population is growing. It's also aging. South Carolina is on pace to have more older adults than youth before 2030 for the first time in history. That's faster than most of the rest of the country.
Wow.
That's happening here in the Columbia area as well. And so what are we going to do with that? One, we got to keep seniors healthy for longer so they don't need intensive services. And that's why you've seen us shift to trying to do more preventative things like Lori Center programming that can keep seniors healthy and active. But the other piece of that is more and more people are going to need services like Meals on Wheels. And, how can we, for $10 a day, we can get that hot meal delivered, have all the wellness checks and everything that goes into it. Think about how much it costs every day you're in the hospital. You're looking at $2,000 when you show up at the door, right?
Sure.
Well, think about if a person has to go to an assisted living or a retirement community, what that costs for a day. Any of us who have been through that with our loved ones, this is a bargain for our community when you look at it from a financial standpoint. And that's taken away all the other awesome things that we just spent, the last 30 minutes talking about, all the good things that happen. Like it is financially a bargain. And so that's what we've got to solve that riddle. And I advocate, whether it's at the State House or with the delegations in Washington, D.C., working with partners around the state, around the country, like how do we solve this riddle? How do we make this achievable? And communicate it in a way that this is a crisis we can solve. We can solve it in our community. We can solve it as a country if we decide to, but we can definitely do it here. But it takes resolve, and it takes the day to day. Like we got to keep after it. We've got to have more dollars to buy the more expensive food that we're all experiencing. Our food costs have gone up over 50% in the last 3 years. So we need more funding just to keep serving what we're doing now, and we're doing that. But we've just got to keep going, and it's a whole community effort, and it takes more volunteers to deliver more meals. And so it's just building that brick by brick to meet that community need.
Yeah. Wow. Well, what are y'all doing right now to encourage fundraising? What is it? What are you doing to connect with that?
Yeah, so we're heading into the end of year charitable donation season, and just like we had the gentleman yesterday that stopped by and made a donation, folks are trying to find that place where they can make a real difference. And food insecurity and hunger has been on the front page of every newspaper and the opening line of every newscast for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and we're right in the middle of that and who we're serving. And so if folks are looking for a way to give back financially, now's a great time to do it, because now's the time when we can
There's a need.
we can take those donations, immediately turn that into serving more people, and do that for the long term. And so it's a great opportunity to do that heading into the new year. We do lots of fun things all throughout the year. So like Biscuits and Bluegrass is our fundraiser we do every October. We have a good time down at the Hunter Gatherer Brewery down at the airport, Owensfield, down there, and have a good time. We did a 5K in the spring. Good opportunity to get the family involved. Yep. Get your Couch to 5K plans. If you start Couch to 5K on New Year's Day, you could run our 5K in March, and it fits in perfect. So there's an aspirational goal for all of us to get off the couch on January 1 and stick with it for a good cause in March.
Nice.
But a lot of ways to get engaged throughout the year. But this is really the time where we're as a people, as a country, what are we thankful for? What gifts have we been blessed with throughout the year, and how can we take that and turn it to help others? And I can think of no greater way to do it than through our Meals on Wheels program.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and I was thinking about how many philanthropists have been made by having that core experience of helping people when they were younger. And
we don't have a major philanthropist that funds everything. There are some organizations in this country and in our community maybe that have the one big charitable donation that really funds the operations. That's not how we work. That's not who our donors are. Those that are giving what they can, but it takes the army of people doing that to make the difference, and that's what our experience is. I mean, certainly we'd love to have the big $7-figure donation. I'd be happy to meet anybody for lunch on Tuesday if they want to bring that in. But that's just historically, we're a grassroots, help your neighbor organization, and that's what's reflected in Becky's work and our work. Is it takes all of us working together, and every little bit helps. And whether it's a $20 donation that comes recurring every month, or whether it's end of year trying to make sure you beat the tax man and get your maximum benefit for what you've been able to earn for the year, it's a good opportunity to get involved.
Well, I think it's fun. Like, we met with the two women who were part of the OG crew that really started what Senior Resources is today. So we met with them, was it about this time last year, perhaps? And they, at the time, one has passed, and the other one, they lived at two different assisted living homes. So I drove one up the road to the Lemon Home. So they got to be reunited, and we learned about the origins of our organization. And it was really a group of primarily women, because we get things done, who saw a need of adults in their community were hungry, and they took over a church kitchen. They started cooking, and they started hand drawing their routes and delivering them. And it's still that same spirit is what we see from the volunteers that come in our kitchen every day to pick up their meals, to the donors who are so proud of the donation that they made, to the kids who are hosting food drives or pet supply drives, because we feed the pets of our Meals on Wheels clients, because that's just as important to keep them fed. So that way, think your dog woke you up this morning because they needed to go out, and that got you out of bed. We want that same for our senior. We want them moving and out and about. But it's the pride of that child with the pet food that they collected during summer camp or at school that they bring to us. We still see that spirit and that joy of giving in so many different ways that we did in the 1967 when the organization first started.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're talking about hand drawing the routes. I cannot imagine figuring out a route to deliver food without GPS or
They left the day computers were introduced to the organization.
They're
like, we're retiring, we're officially out, we're done.
You MapQuested it and took it with you or something. But can you imagine pulling out the map and going, this is where I got to go on the map?
Yeah.
And then, stopping at a stop sign.
They knew where things are. I barely know how to get from my house to my office half the time. But they knew the streets. They knew the folks.
Yeah.
But now we have the app.
I delivered pizza in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And
how did that go?
It was fine. It was good. But I learned the town the back of my hand, because I knew the cross streets. I knew how to get around traffic. I knew how to, all of the things. But we had a huge map in the Pizza Hut that had a grid on it, and you would know in the grid where your delivery was. Yeah. And so,
I think that's how they do it with the police officers.
Yeah.
The police officers have to know where they are at all times in case something goes down, so they can call
they can
for
get the
help.
cross streets.
They need to. So there's probably some sort of technique that they have to.
So the GPS makes
memorize
us
it all.
lazy, certainly.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. But I now know places. Like yesterday, we were delivering off Leesburg, and there were a couple times my coworker and I and our intern didn't know where she was half the time. Love her, but she's not from here.
No, of course.
And Danielle and I we've lived here basically our whole lives, and we were like, where are we? Like, where is Leesburg?
Yeah.
Where are we? But now I know a whole new part, not even a new part of town, but I know some new streets.
So what's the farthest you guys go out?
So if you live in Richland County, we will serve a meal.
Okay. But you don't cross the river.
So we don't cross the river for most services. There's a few coming out of the hospital, like if you're being discharged, and then we work with our partners in the neighboring counties. And so we do partner with our neighboring counties that do similar work. Our hot meals, so to getting a hot meal every day, it's really within like I said, an hour drive to do a route. So within an hour circle of Columbia. And so typically as you start getting to the outskirts, we switch that over to a frozen meal delivery once a week because we can't get a hot meal there and ensure food safety in time. And so we do have some folks who live in the more rural outer edges. I say rural, but like Chapin and some parts of Irmo are a little outside of our delivery range, but they're not necessarily rural. And so they get those delivered once a week as a frozen delivery. But we're
Like
all over
5
Richland.
meals?
So they'll get 5 meals once a day or once a week. So they can heat that up in the microwave, pop it in the oven, do what they need to do.
That's cool.
Which is another great opportunity. We also have some folks in town that prefer that. They may have dialysis appointments or something in the morning, so they're not necessarily home when we're delivering the meals, the hot meals, and so they'd rather have the frozen meals so they can pop in and cook when they get home from the doctor's appointments. So we try to be flexible on that side too.
Yeah, that's very cool. I have loved being around senior resources over the time that every time we've interacted with Meals on Wheels, it's always a joyous thing for people to be able to do. So it's really exciting to have you guys on. So I appreciate this. This has been fun talking to you. We end up everything with questions. So we ask you.
We've been asking you questions, but now these are
these are your favorite questions.
5 favorites.
Yep. So let's start off with favorite dessert. Becky, what's your favorite dessert?
I'm gonna go with and it's about to be this time at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has these like the peppermint JoJo's, where it's like the Oreo dipped in chocolate with the peppermint, and I buy them in bulk, and my stash is running low. So right now, that's like my simple dessert. But then also because hopefully my mother is listening, and I love her chocolate chip cookies. They're just delicious. Yeah.
Nice.
Simple.
Andrew, favorite dessert?
Coconut cake.
Okay.
Oh,
That is
thank
it.
First.
God, we don't have
That
like
is it. Coconut
conflict.
cake.
That's disgusting.
Tis the season to have one too, so I got to
Nice.
get in the kitchen.
Terrible taste.
Awesome. What is your go-to music to listen to?
I have a 3-year-old, so right now it's like I'm just
Kid
begging
stuff.
for not Cocomelon and just like Encanto or something.
Oh, my
Let
goodness.
it go.
I am so
We're deep in that.
my daughter's 15 now, so
So you're finally out of Cocomelon?
finally I'm way out of that. We've gone beyond like cartoon soundtracks and all that
What's
stuff.
that like? Is that nice?
Well, it's
Is it
it's
pleasant?
getting dragged to concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's expensive.
All
Thankfully,
over
she's
the
not a
Southeast.
Thankfully, she's not a Swiftie. So
How dare you?
Well,
And my daytime, I'm a Swiftie, but my mom hours.
We have had so
Cocomelon,
many. We've
we
had
ride
so
or
many
die.
Swifties on the show that I've been able to talk to them and
You
know,
can relate. Okay.
But I will tell you that if I had to go see Taylor Swift for 2 hours, I would not be happy.
What?
I just don't. It's just not for
I
me.
don't
I don't know
You
if you've
have to
noticed.
remember, he doesn't look like it, but he is a heavy metal singer.
That's
All
true.
the comments on this podcast just got really crazy because he just ripped Taylor Swift.
I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
just
didn't.
really
this-
I
alienated
respect
a
it.
wide
This is
demographic.
suddenly going viral.
I
and
respect
now I
the. I
understand
respect
why.
the Swifties. I
Oh.
respect the Swifties. I just don't want to participate. That's
Yeah.
all.
You're
It's-
going to like track the IP address and it's going to
I
come
know.
from Senior Resources and it's going to be our
Senior
colleague Danielle
Resources
Floyd
loves
is going to be
Taylor
the one
Swift.
that's
I want that on the
Yeah.
record.
creating some controversy.
hates. Yeah, how dare you?
But yeah, I finally have transcended the cartoon soundtracks, which is really exciting. And you'll get there.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hope
you'll
so.
get
I
there.
really-
once you can have your own music again, it'll be
Okay,
nice,
that'll be really fun.
But my daughter also comes to me with music from the 90s, and she'll go, "Dad, have you heard of Blink 182?" And I'll go, Yeah, honey. I've heard of Blink-182. Have you heard of Fall Out Boy? It's really good. I'll go.
Knife to the heart.
Yeah, honey. I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was alive in the
Okay.
90s. Yeah, so so that's
Andrew's
great.
got to answer.
No, yeah, Andrew. What's
Andrew is a
your
Swiftie.
go-to
You were
music?
Swiftie for
Well,
Halloween.
my go-to if I get control, it's going to be like '90s country. Speaking of '90s,
Oh,
okay.
like you throw some Alan Jackson and
Yeah.
things like that. It takes me back to my childhood. But
Sure.
my daughter is square in Swiftie world right now.
Okay.
So we went as Swifties for Halloween.
Oh.
So she was Taylor Swift.
Right.
My older son, we twisted his arm, high schooler, and made him be Travis Kelce.
Okay.
So he was Travis Kelce. I went as Jason Kelce.
Oh wow.
So much hair.
My wife was Kylie Kelce, and then my other son went along as a bribed referee that was received from the Chiefs, and so he had his wad of cash in the referee pocket, and we won the trick or treating
Yeah, you
circuit
did.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the amount of thought that went into that.
It was awesome. It was great.
I will say I did like Reputation. I listened to Reputation. It's
Best
one of the
album.
only albums I've listened to all the way. That in 1989 I listened to all the way through. I
Bad
like,
Blood is on repeat on school drop-off line.
Yes.
Oh,
in
got some
my
rage
car.
in your heart.
There's a
That
lot
is
of rage in
cool.
my first grade.
going
well,
on?
I'm in a heavy metal band right now, and I feel like we should cover either Look What You Made Me Do or Bad Blood as a heavy metal song.
I'm
think
I'm
we
here
should.
for it.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a thing that's time has
I
come.
think it makes sense.
Let's do it.
We've
Char-
covered Britney Spears
charity
and-
concert at the Senate to benefit Meals on Wheels.
Let's
That's going
go.
to be the headliner. Let's make it happen.
Let's go. We can do it.
Love it.
We've got about 2 hours worth right now, so we could definitely
We can
do
do
it.
it? Okay, I love it.
That's so awesome. And listen, I just to clear it up, I have respect for Swifties. I understand that you love what you love. I don't like it. It's not for me. She didn't write
okay,
it for
that's
me. If I
fine.
liked it, I would be pandering to my children, and I don't want to come off to that. So, that's awesome. Becky, favorite movie?
Gosh, it's like another thing. It's like right now all I've got in my head is like a Disney classic.
Yeah.
Gosh, what have I watched lately? Crazy Rich Asians has been like my comfort movie, and it's back on Netflix. So I'm like really
Stephanie's
thrilled with
favorite
that.
movie?
Yeah, that's like my comfort right now.
No,
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I'm just gonna do that one for now. Yeah.
It's so well made. Why don't we make more
Wicked.
movies like this?
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
It's funny. It's a well-told story. Everybody has a good time.
I can have it on
you
in
know?
the background. I can like
Yeah.
tune in. It's just
Yeah.
great
I
when
love
I'm not
it.
like watching Frozen on repeat.
Sure. It gets very old. You start to see big plot holes in Frozen after you see it
Yes.
for a long
Well,
time.
when you're like, is it Let It Go 1 or 2 that we're watching tonight? And
Right.
you're praying it's Let It Go 2. You
Yes,
know?
of course.
She's like, let go.
My daughter dressed like Elsa for a lot when she was 4. Now she's 15 now.
Yes.
But she was at the right age when it came out. She
Yeah.
dressed like Elsa all the time.
Yes.
And my goodness.
That was us for Halloween.
Don't need to hear Let It Go ever again.
So much Let It Go.
Andrew, what's your favorite movie?
So I'm going to go sentimental on this one. It's a Wonderful Life. We're going into season where that's there.
Oh, yeah.
But that was my grandfather's favorite movie. I remember that when he died. I remembered I got the VHS. That was the one thing I wanted at the house. And so I still remember that one. And when it comes on in the holidays, I'm always like, everybody's got to stop and watch this now. And my kids probably think I'm crazy. But one day, hopefully they'll enjoy it too. I guess it kind of goes back to family traditions
Yeah.
and things that
Yeah,
come
core
along on that
memories,
one.
right?
But,
Yeah.
but that one always sticks out.
That's
Well,
awesome.
and I just saw It's a Wonderful Life for the first time last year.
Oh.
I had never seen it; just never was a thing in my house,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we just never watched it. And I realized that I am a big fan of Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Christmas music,
Yeah.
but I love Die Hard. I love Home Alone. I love
Yeah.
the whole Home Alone
Are you a
aesthetic.
Hallmark guy? Are
But
you
that's what I was
watching
about to
Hallmark
ask.
Channel?
What about the Hallmark Christmas
So-
movies?
Biltmore
'Cause
Hallmark
that's-
movie?
Brian
That's-
hates
that
when I
might be
get
my
off on this,
favorite.
but I am a huge fan of the Netflix Christmas movies.
Okay.
Netflix
Alright.
has its own
Okay.
series of
Yeah, yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
movies. I love the Hallmark Christmas movies too.
Okay.
And my favorite thing that Hallmark does is they'll take YouTube stars or reality show stars and
Yeah.
then put them in a Hallmark movie where there's a story where they have to
Yeah.
act, and it is my favorite thing that
Okay.
happens
Alright.
because they somehow route it back to their origins as reality show stars or
Alright.
YouTube stars, and
Yeah.
It's just the greatest cheeseball thing that's ever happened.
All right.
So comforting.
Random Christmas movie, Christmas at Xander Point with an X, Xander.
Okay.
Filmed in Newberry, South Carolina.
Nice.
Historic downtown Newberry. So I think it came out last year.
Right.
So who knows what channels that's on now. But, if you need to get some local Midlands Christmas feel, Xander Point.
Every year Netflix puts out a new Christmas movie. And generally there is a Netflix Christmas movie universe where all of the Christmas movies are connected in some way. And so
Genius.
there are fake countries. So, the most famous series is the
royal one, right?
Yeah, well, right. So Christmas Prince series
Yes.
is set in a foreign country. There's also one called The Princess Switch that's also set in a foreign country, and the two foreign countries exist in the same world, and they interact in the second and third movies.
Wow.
I feel like there's a whole Marvel.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
That's like Shondaland. Where
It's
all
amazing.
of the
Yes, right. And then all the
you were just talking
actors-
about Scandal. You're going to see some overlap.
Exactly. And we watch Grey's Anatomy too.
Yes.
So like we're seeing a lot of the same actors. So that's awesome. All right, Brian, take the last two.
Favorite books?
Oh, favorite book.
Book. Yeah. Fiction or nonfiction.
I haven't read in a while.
Ooh. So I'm trying to think. So I've developed a new habit the last couple summers. I get the South Carolina Novel of the Year.
Okay.
Which is through the Hub City Press up in Spartanburg, and like that's my beach book.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking through like which one is it? But those are always, it's really cool because it's local authors. They're not always from South Carolina, but South Carolina adjacent. Some really cool stories typically set somewhere in South Carolina, and so probably one of them off of that list is the most current. And then the one that I always go back to though was thinking back to like going through school. For some reason, I was really into Grapes of Wrath. I don't know, something about heading out west and dealing with the times that are difficult.
The drought and the whole thing.
I actually read that one. That wasn't a Cliff Note version of my book report. Like that was always one of those that stuck out in my head growing up.
I feel like I should have read it, but I don't remember anything about it. So.
So we'll go with
Becky, favorite book?
Gosh, I don't know. So mine is like my childhood classic of some like a very obscure series that I grew up with. The series it was written like in the 1914s, and the culmination was Betsy's Wedding because I was like obsessed with weddings. So like that's like that book it was like a 3 named author like Mary Jo something.
Of course.
Favorite she will never top. But then my like recent is, and I'm gonna like, depending on who's listening to this, like I'm going to get called out because I've like dropped from our challenge is a friend of mine and I started reading and listening to, we're working through all of the presidents and all of their biographies or autobiographies to kind of work our way through present day. And the Abraham Lincoln biography that I listened to was like, because it was when my daughter was young and I was on maternity leave. So like I just listened to everything on tape while I like rocked her like half asleep at 3 a.m. Was just like fantastic. And I love biographies and I love learning about folks and just kind of feeling like what our common strengths are and weaknesses. And so that book was just like fantastic.
Yeah. I've got a real presidential gap in my knowledge between like Lincoln and like, I don't know, Eisenhower, Roosevelt.
Do you want to join the challenge?
I don't know.
Because it's great.
Like, would I read a book about William McKinley or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
but
know.
you have to do
your
it
Grover
chronologically.
Cleveland
So you know.
knowledge
Grover Cleveland?
is
Yeah,
like,
you're just like, wow. It's alarming.
Yeah.
You're just surprised we've made it this far. We've just had some interesting leadership.
I feel like I
and
kind of
lack
recognize
thereof.
all the names and stuff, like Taft, I recognize the name.
Yeah,
but I don't know anything about what the era was or what they did or
You
any
should
of
join
that
the
stuff.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So now I have to pick up the challenge back up. So
Most of what I know about George Washington, I
Now I'm
learned from
back.
Hamilton. So,
yes.
it's not.
Well, because of I was going to ask this anyway before we got into the presidents, but we haven't done this question in a while, which is, what is your favorite historical character or person?
Oh, I've got mine.
go.
Wait, real or
Real.
dang? Okay, never mind. I was gonna say.
Well,
like,
give us your favorite fictional.
give us your
character.
I was just gonna be
fictional
like, because we were like on that. I was like West Wing, like Jed Bartlett,
Okay.
obviously.
Nice.
or Josh Lyman, but okay, real.
In fact, she quotes West Wing more than anybody I know.
I'm like offended. I gave him, what was the quote I gave you? It was something that you should have been, secret plan to fight inflation. And he did not know that reference.
Sorry.
That was like
Just
one
like,
of the.
I thought I was going to have to resign.
I am a West Wing fan.
Yes.
I watched every single one.
Thank you.
I actually have a script textbook with all the scripts from like season 1
Yeah.
that I've read through. It's pretty awesome.
Josh and Donna forever.
Well, and the thing is,
Love
like,
them.
West Wing was one of the first ones that the dialogue became as much of the star as anything.
Yeah.
Which, it's
Aaron
like.
Sorkin.
I mean, really, any Aaron Sorkin show I'll
Right.
fully support.
But that's like all of the shows that came after, like
Mm-hmm.
even Grey's Anatomy and whatever else. Anytime there's a quick dialogue thing that goes on, it's all just a fallback to Aaron Sorkin, So I'm a huge fan. And I've watched the first season of West Wing, but I haven't watched anything past that. And it's because I got distracted somewhere along the way, so I should probably.
When you're done with Scandal, get on that.
Right.
It's so great.
Yeah, Scandal's gotten very complicated for my wife. She's like,
It will be very.
She's like, now who's that guy? And
It
I
won't
go,
be as
"I don't-"
complicated and not nearly as gruesome.
Right. Right. It does get a little heavy.
Yes.
Scandal. Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so back to historical.
Yeah. So
historical.
Your character. Yeah.
Oh,
You're gonna pick a real one.
well, yeah, I'll pick a real
Okay.
one.
I'll think if I can think of somebody.
When you think back to, we were talking about Hamilton, but like Thomas Jefferson's life is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, but when you read the biography, you feel different.
And he's also
Saying
a
my one
super
flex.
complicated man.
I can only get to a certain amount of presidents.
I'm not saying like I aspire to be Thomas Jefferson, but like
No,
to
you
think
don't want
about
to.
what he inspired, what he lived in. Plus, I'm a Clemson grad, and he's on the $2 bill, and that's an important thing for us. So
Right.
there's a lot that goes into that. But it's he's a really remarkable guy, and all that he did. He brought macaroni and cheese to America.
Are you sure that was
That is-
not
that is-
in the biography?
We still appreciate
That is him.
macaroni and
Well,
cheese.
it wasn't actually him, but he
What, did he put cheese and noodles together?
well,
made
he
it
experienced
popular.
that in
And called it
Paris, and he brought it back
macaroni?
and made his cooks start making this, and it became a thing. So, but
Fact check that later.
go ahead, go ahead. Where's our NPR fact check team?
That's right.
Where
I
is
don't
it?
know about
Steph, can you
that.
Google
I
that?
was saying,
Yeah,
if we were on Rogan, I'd be like, pull up the
Jamie,
Yeah.
Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah,
Steph,
Jamie, pull up the video. We'll have to have Steph with the laptop over there, just fact checking us. Like Jubilee, it'll just come up on the screen and say, Thomas Jefferson did not actually bring mac and cheese.
Yeah, can you put like a graphic overlay on
Yeah,
that? Like,
it'll just we'll put it in.
what's your
post.
biggest misconception you've ever heard?
That's like a Mandela effect, You're like, yeah, I'm almost 100% sure Thomas Jefferson.
like that's totally.
I heard it on a podcast. It must be true.
We could be. Hopefully we'll get one of those comments. That's total
Has
crap.
to be.
Like he definitely didn't do that. Well, listen, y'all, this was really fun. I appreciate it, and thank you for coming on, and best of luck to y'all.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Come deliver with us soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
See
will.
ya.
Come do it.